Focus, people. Let's stay focused. Game one. Let's talk about this some more. For one, there's been some records broken in game one because the Warriors won it. And the record spans across sports history. Um, so there's a few records broken actually because Cleveland and the Warriors have met so many times for the championship. So that record itself has been broken across sports history, just not just the NBA, it's the MLB and NFL and yada yada yada. There's a whole thing on it. I kind of glimpsed through. I didn't really want to get too much into it. I'm not that dude. There's probably some gematria guy out there. Actually, there is. There's a gematria guy who comments on my videos. His last comment was, Warriors gonna win game two, wake up. And he gave it, he did his whole gematria thing within a short span because gematria is usually all kind of jibber jabber that my mind can't fathom. Hold on a second. Allergies. My plants. I think I'm a plant. It's that my mind doesn't pretend to know or get into. I'm not a numbers guy. I'm a skeptic. I'm not a skeptic with numbers, but so there's been some history made with Cleveland and Golden State meeting, and also Golden State themselves. They broke a record that the Spurs had, which was 12 straight wins in the playoffs and championship compared, I think. So Golden State just went 13-0, and so they broke a record there. I guess that's kind of cool for you Golden State fans. Something to be proud about. You know, guys up for breaking records. And but let's talk about Kevin Durant. I said this. Before the game started that Kevin Durant was going to be the widowmaker. Kevin Durant is going to be the difference maker in the whole thing. Whether they win or not, Kevin Durant is the difference maker. He is he's an apex player. Hold on a second. My plant. I took out my plant, dude. It's an apple tree. Plant, dude. Apple tree. Kevin Durant is an apex player. As far as on the list of best players in the NBA right now, yeah, in the NFL. Could Kevin Durant play in the NFL? Well, tight end, wide receiver, defensive end. Kevin Durant, defensive end. But as far as in the NBA, I mean, he might be top five, a top five player. But, people are like Kevin Durant won the game. I think he had 38 points. I don't know what his assists were, anything like that. But his presence is enough, to to me, his presence is enough to be such a problem for Cleveland that Cleveland is going to have to do, they're going to have to do one of their switcheroo numbers because what Cleveland did is ever since LeBron left Miami, reason why he left because he couldn't get any help to win a championship. And, Cleveland didn't want to spend that money to get a good rotation in there. So he's like, screw you, I'm leaving. He left, won 2 championships, came back, they offered him all this money, and then they have a heavy rotation of individuals they hired just for the playoffs. You know. So they, and I mean, and it's all legal, but it's not. What's going on, Justin? It's all legal, but it's like who's the real team of Cleveland? Your top 5. Thompson, Smith, LeBron, Irving, Love. I mean, are they? Is that it? Is that all who we have to look for? Everybody else is a bunch of mixed nuts. Just a bag of nuts just thrown in there. So basically that's what happened is when they want, when they want to start matching up, they just hire somebody. hey, you, how tall are you? Come on up. Get in here and watch this guy. But here's the problem with that. Congruency. Your team, you have your 5, but you're not as congruent when you just throw somebody in there, throw some free agent in there. I'm just gonna, who's out there? I'm just gonna throw this free agent in there, and that's what they do, But you have that gel it gets a little messed up, LeBron knows where Thompson is, he knows the look that Thompson gives him. Irving knows where LeBron is gonna be. LeBron throws a no-look pass, to Love. Because you know your player. You know who you're playing with. So, but you got Durant in there as an apex player. See, your mixed bag of nuts are not apex players. They're not in the top 5 in the NBA. They may be in the top 30. They're good enough to get in there and play with those guys, but they're not good enough to stop them. No. Oh, you're looking at my plan? Yeah, there it is. They're good enough to play with them. My neighbor's kid. I ain't want him to get in the, I ain't want him to jump in the. They're good enough to play with them, but they're not good enough to stop them. They're good enough to be like a screen, like a small deterrent, but they're not good enough to just straight up stop KD. You're just not good enough. It's not going to happen. You're not going to stop Curry. You're not going to stop Clay. You're not going to stop Zaza. You're not going to stop these guys. But you're good enough to get in there and, maybe make them readjust for a second or two. That's it. And then once they readjust, it's lights out. Once they find that chink. But Kevin Durant is not the dude that you just gonna, stick somebody on and make something happen. It just doesn't work like that. And that's the problem that they're having. This is the problem when the NBA, mixes up everyone and everyone's a free agent, after a year. This is the problem when teams. You got the pressure spinner now? No, I don't have it. And this is the problem when teams don't. You're talking to me. I'm talking. I'm making a video. I'll talk to you in just a minute. This is the problem when this is the lost my train of cute kid though. This is the problem when teams are just mixed up and when they're not set. You know, that's my biggest problem with free agency. But anyways, and this is my problem with Kevin Durant. I wish he would have stayed with Oklahoma. I wish they would have built a dynasty in Oklahoma because we're tired of seeing the Cavs. You know, now they broke a record for. See, this is the problem. Now they broke this record for meeting so many times in the championship, and it's like, is this good? Is this a good thing? We're seeing the same. It's like seeing the same movie. I saw this already. uh, I would have liked KD to stay in Oklahoma. I would have liked to see him and Russell Westbrook, you know, get, you know, another apex player and just run with it and make Cleveland sweat. I would have liked the Spurs, to have themselves one more good player. It's a shame that Duncan had to leave because he just got older. But I did like the fact that the Spurs were always a threat. Now the Spurs, and to me, are not a threat unless they get another Duncan. That's just it. People get old and they fall out. But this is the problem with Kevin Durant. So now that he's in there, it's like you got this equation that you just can't figure out. At least not right now. You know. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But people like Kevin Durant won game one. I'm like, Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant. I mean, we all know it's not going to go to game 6 and end. We know it's going to go to game 7 because of revenue. But they might fool around and rest KD. They might fool around and beat Cleveland this next game and rest KD. Like, take it back. Bring him back and whoop on him, for the last 2 games. you know, I've already thrown out my prediction on if either team wins and how they would win. But as far as taking the whole thing, for LeBron James, for his history, for him to get to his 3-peat, 4-peat, he would have to win this series. But my gut feeling tells me that Golden State's going to take the whole thing. And like I said, it really doesn't matter. For those of you guys who come to my channel, for those of you guys who come to my channel for the Christian gospel stuff, I have plenty of that stuff. I just had a guy fuss me out. You ain't talking about winning souls. I'm like, yeah, yes I am. I talk about how the NBA is fixed and why you shouldn't put so much love into it. Anyways, Kevin Durant won game 1. He's the difference maker. It's your boy Tom 202.